Hoka, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita live stream of September the 22nd, 2023. At which professions would Alita excel? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek from Denver, Colorado, and our co-host is Angelus, and he's from Brisbane in I forget which state you're in there, Angelus. It's either New South Wales or it's not New South Wales. What is it?
Brisbane, Queensland, Australia.
Queensland. That's right. How could I forget that? So anyway, so how's it going down under?
Going pretty good.
Cool. So anyway, I guess it's just Angelus and I right now. We might have a couple others come and join us. So let's go ahead and get to it, I guess. And we don't have any guests at this point. And I think this is a kind of an old number. We might have maybe 10 more than this, but just a reminder to everybody on the stream that if you haven't signed the petition yet, please do so. The link is going to be in the description below the screen here, and sign that petition. And those of you future people that are watching the stream, please click on that link and sign the petition if you want to see an Alita sequel itself. Now, I guess it's plural now, isn't it, Angelus? Alita sequels. So that's kind of what we're after, since James Cameron is working on both of the Alita 2 and 3.
Absolutely. Amen to that. You
got it. So anyway, that's sign that petition. And just to remind everybody, we have a Hero Arm campaign going on. And actually, it's not just for the Hero Arm to give somebody a deserving individual who's physically challenged a bionic hand, but also the funds were also used to fly the banner around Disney headquarters. So, you know, it's done some good already. So anyway, if you haven't, you know, please click on that link. No amount is too small. If it's even just $1 or £1 or 1 peso or whatever it is, click on that link and donate. If not, I have here the last couple of days have tweeted out, you know, the kind of an announcement of this. So if you've seen that, please retweet it. If you're not able to, or even if you are able to contribute, and you know, let's get some thing going there for some deserving individual. And just one more thing, I guess I think I talked about this at some point in the past on another stream, but I bought an Alita, I guess that's a Prime 1, I think, Alita figure, and I bought it from KranberriJam, and you know, I bought it from her and Rido, and so as you can see there, it is pretty cool. And I got a wide shot right there. Next week, what I'll do is I'll have a closer shot of Alita, and it is really, really great. I mean, the Hot Toys Alita is pretty good, but this one is just a little bigger, and it seems to have, you can see the detail a little bit better. Not that Hot Toys Alita doesn't have some pretty good detail, because it does, but you know, it's really cool. So anyway, as you can see, that's my Alita, I guess you'd call it like a display or something like that, and it's grown quite a bit. Those of you that saw a stream a couple of years ago, I guess before I won the Harkins Theater giveaway, I only had one Hot Toys Alita at that point, and now a week later I won a Hot Toys Alita. I had bought one before and ended up with 2 Hot Toys Alita. Now I've got the Prime 1 Studios Alita figure, so I'm pretty proud of that thing, and that thing is gorgeous. I mean, it is amazing, the detail in it. Any comment there, Angelus?
Just sorry, getting distracted by the ooh-woo.
Yes, there is plenty of that there. Even on any of these figures, there's some ooh-woo there. So, oh, by the way, we are going to be talking about ooh-woo you know, at some point, you know, and we'll get to that a little later on here. We did a stream similar to this last year, but I kind of wanted to, you know, expand on it a little bit more and not just, you know, what could Alita do if she wasn't a bounty hunter or a you know, a motorball player. I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit. And you probably recognize some of the, I guess, some of the figures there from that particular stream. But I've got a few more in there that we can also talk about that I think Alita would be really good at if she was to, whether she was transported here in the 21st century or during her time. What else could she do? Certainly, Cirque du Soleil is not around in the 26th century, I don't think. But a lot of these careers that you see there definitely would be, you know, are available today. So, you know, I mean, she could, if she was to somehow magically come back to the 21st century, I think she would be pretty good at any of this stuff. For one thing, I believe, you know, she's curious. She would, I think you've probably seen some of the manga where she was actually started reading books, you know, to kind of catch up on some things. That tells me she would probably be a pretty good student. So if she say did come back to the 21st century, hey, she could probably go to college, you know, I mean, at least start out. She was only 14, you know, at one point, but having gone through military training, I think it'd be a natural fit for her to go to high school and then college. And being that she is intelligent, I think she would be, I think she would pick it up pretty easy. I think she would learn, you know, just like any other person would learn that would be getting an education. And I got some slides coming up after this, and each slide for each one of those professions right there. Any thoughts, Angelus, about her abilities to, you know, kind of learn and pick up another trade or another profession?
No thoughts at all. I mean, excuse me, probably the fact that even that she's a cyborg means that she can not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just naturally gifted when it comes to just learning new learning new things, whether it be like knowledge or education based or what's the word I'm looking for?
Adaptability or
yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, she's extremely versatile. I mean, well, I've even left one off. I just thought of it while you were talking about that. You know, at one point in the movie, and I only had like one scene, but she was actually Ito's assistant, wasn't she, in his clinic? And I think it goes into that a little bit more in the novelization. I don't think we saw much of that in the manga, but the fact that, you know, she could help Ito in the clinic. And if you've read any of Lee Lemon's fanfic, you know that she also helps around in the clinic as well there. You know, I think she could be something of a, like what they called, an orderly or a lab tech or something like that. She could learn it. You know, she wouldn't be really good at it.
Security.
Yes. Yeah, she could also be security. That's for sure, you know. So there's another one that's not there, you know, which we can talk about when we get down to the end here. But these are kind of the stuff I came up with off the top of my head. You know, there's probably 9 or 10 of these professions, and there's definitely more because, you know, as Angela said, you know, she's really versatile. You know, she's got a lot of that. She can adapt very well. So I think she could definitely do that. Some of these jobs would be professions, which you would think of as an actual professional job. Some would be less so, like bartenders, a waitress, and all. Those are professions, but they don't require going to college for X number of years and stuff like that. So, and some others would require extreme physical abilities, like a Cirque du Soleil performer. or say a martial arts instructor, definitely, and a professional athlete would certainly require some some extreme physical abilities, which we know our girl has. Okay, well, the first one, astronaut. Well, I put this one in here because definitely she was more of a military, in what you would call like the infantry, the military, the infantry, or it might be similar to our, in some of our militaries today, Marines or special operations, something like that. But the fact that she had to be trained in low gravity environments in a vacuum, like or a near vacuum, like they have on the moon, that tells me that, she could adapt to be an astronaut. She could learn, how to, not just fight in space like she did here, but I think she could carry out some missions because, like say, she is intelligent, so she could learn, some of the, the operations necessary on a spacecraft, and perhaps even do some of the operational aspects of it. So, thoughts, Angelus?
Again, I lean back towards my thing where I said that she's got the capability to pick up, like, fairly quickly any sort of not, I was about to say skill base, but skill set, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she'd be able to learn to, like, for lack of a better term, learn to pilot or drive any sort of craft.
Yeah. Now, when she was in the military, I don't think she learned how to fly a spacecraft. She may have, I don't recall. But she could certainly learn it. She knows how to use weaponry. She learned how to do that. She was trained to do that. She probably learned some technology necessary to support any kind of military mission she had. So the fact that she could learn that tells me that she could actually learn how to do spacecraft operations, as an example, and not so much to fight like she's doing here on the moon, but to actually, do something like some logistical, type of, it's kind of a, response, kind of thing. Lost Link says a first responder to emergencies. Yes, she could definitely do that. That would be another thing we could add to that list, because we just saw that list a while ago and we've already added 3 things to it. But we can chat about that toward the end here when we get to the final list, where we're going to add some more. So as an astronaut, I think she would, she certainly, I would say, preconditioned for long duration space flights, because at some point when she was in the military, in the military, it took, in today's technology for space flight, to get from Mars to the Earth, it could take anywhere from 6 to 9 months. Now, they probably have more powerful, drives or more propulsion systems are more advanced that would probably cut into that. But I do think that it would require, say, they could cut that in half, maybe 3 months or 2 months. That would still be considered a long duration space flight. And I think she is certainly, with her cyborg body, definitely would be, physically able to complete, a mission that involves some kind of long space flight like that. So anything else on that, Angelus?
Sorry, I keep on staring at
seeing the ooh-woo. Yeah.
I kind of.
Yeah, she's got the ooh-woo going there too. Yeah. And she certainly knows. Yeah, go ahead.
She'd certainly be suited for it.
Yeah, for sure. And well, she knows how to put on a spacesuit because she's got one on right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can move on to the next one. Yep, she could be a bartender, and I've added some stuff to the bar since I shot this, but and inserted her in the picture. But certainly she, in the Kansas bar, we're going to talk about this in a little while, but she was a musician there, which we're going to get to. But I think the fact that she is familiar with waiting on client, maybe not waiting on clients so much, but in the bar or customers, uh, that I think she would be a natural fit for this. Another thing that would be helpful for her being a bartender is that sometimes some of the patrons get a little too rowdy, if they get drunk, and I certainly think Alita could handle that with no problem. She would definitely be able to take on any meat boy or meat girl or other cyborg that maybe got a little too rowdy. She could definitely escort them out of the bar, and kind of keep the peace around there, I guess. X-Man 577 is in London, England. That's pretty cool.
Say hi to Vladdy for me.
Yeah, that's right. Vladdy is, I don't know where Vladdy lives exactly. The best I know about him is he lives in the Shires. Vladdy's not going to be able to make it today, neither is Lee. But, yeah, Vladdy makes it to London several times. I know I've been to London a couple of times. So that's a cool area to visit there, X-Man. So, yeah, really cool. By the way, X-Man, I suggest if you're in London, you go to it's kind of like a pub / restaurant on Fleet Street called the Bank of England. So it's not really a bank. I think it used to be back in the day, but go to the Bank of England on Fleet Street. And, they have a really good menu there, and I enjoyed it very much. You can get some certainly English cuisine there and that kind of stuff. So, and it's real good. And the beer is good there too, if you want to test that out. So what do you think about Alita being a bartender there, Angelus? If Alita was a bartender at a local bar there around Brisbane, you'd probably be a regular, wouldn't you?
She wouldn't have any shortage of tips, that's for sure.
Yes, she would. That's right. She would definitely get tips because she's got the woo going there too, and that seems to help the guys, that are going to a bar. They probably will, leave a little better tip or something like that, So, I know if my niece was a bartender somewhere, well, she's a bartender here at my Kansas bar, I would frequent it often, just to say hi and stuff like that, and talk to her and that kind of stuff. If she was a real person, she's not a real person, but, we can still enjoy, her character and that kind of stuff. So you would probably frequent a bar that she was a bartender at, wouldn't you, Angelus?
Of course.
You betcha. Yes, indeedy. I don't think she was ever a bartender in the Kansas bar, though. I think the Kansas bar had two owners in the manga. The first Kansas bar got tore down and then got rebuilt. Of course, in the movie, we only see the one Kansas bar. So. So any other thoughts about that one, Angelus?
No, just obviously her main headquarters would be the Denver branch of the Kansas bar.
Yeah.
Or the Kansas bar chain, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't exactly call it a chain. In case some of you are wondering about that sign, Künstler 99 made that sign for me. If any of you are interested in getting him to do something like that for you, yeah. Now I will warn you, it wasn't cheap. I mean, it was well worth the expense, though. I mean, you can see that very much looks like the Kansas bar sign in the movie. So, okay, I guess we can move on to the next one, Bounty Hunter. Now, we know she's a bounty hunter because she's a bounty hunter in the movie. She's a bounty hunter in the manga, and she's a bounty hunter in the anime as well, I think. So, yeah, she can definitely do this. Now, you can extrapolate this, although, Angelus, I don't think you actually do any bounty hunting as a security guy, do you?
No.
Yeah, I think she could, definitely pull this off because she does pull it off, Now, I don't know about there in Australia, but here in the U.S., we do have bounty hunters here, but it's a little bit different than it would be in Iron City, where they would be. There's more than enough, how would you say, opportunities to make money in Iron City, whereas here, in the U.S. and probably in any Western civilized society, yeah, bounty hunters, I guess they can make money, but it wouldn't, it wouldn't be like in Iron City where they could collect money every single day because there's no shortage of crime in Iron City. But I think in modern societies, crime is kind of low. Now, probably a lot of you that are not in the U.S. probably, hear about all the shootings we have and stuff like that. And we do have a fair number of them. We average more than one a day. But when you consider how big the U.S. is, it's not something that, say, bounty hunters could make a lot of money on. Now, to extrapolate this, we talked about she could be in law enforcement, couldn't she? What do you think, Angelus? You think she could do that or be some kind of, in some security for some company or something like that?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I wonder how well she would do, though, kind of watching or observing monitors to see if anybody is doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. I don't know how well she would handle that. I think, to me, she might think of that as a little boring, I think, because she likes to get into the action, Now, that said, that doesn't mean she couldn't do it. I think she could probably do it, particularly if they gave her the authority to say if she was to see something, to act on it. I don't. Does that occur very much in security there, Angelus? You guys, like where you work, you probably have more than just one type of security person, right? You probably have monitors. You actually have folks that are almost like policemen and logistics and stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah. Like we've got pretty much all the like departments, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Or all the subsections of security, whether it be monitoring, whether it be cash in transit.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing. So yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Hello, Chaos Nova from Mentor, Ohio.
Hello there. I'll be briefly.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff involves waiting most of the time.
Cool.
Soldier or security, so I don't know how much of a difference that would make.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of skill. There's probably a skill set that translates from one to the other. Maybe a lot of it, maybe not all of it, but
being able to wake up from being a really passive situation.
Yes, she certainly could do that. So yeah, she could be a bounty hunter, or because she is a bounty hunter in the movie, manga, and the anime. But extrapolate that to law enforcement, she could do that. I think she would be an excellent, policewoman. I definitely think she
They'd
would.
have to change the rules because it's pretty much bounty hunters with lethal force in Scrapyard or Iron City.
Yeah, we were talking a while ago about how adaptable she is. I think if she understood the rules, if she was to come back to the 21st century, she would have to understand that it's not Iron City anymore. I mean, it's a little different. You don't just.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying deadly force isn't as permissible now.
Yeah, that's right. Now she can a policeman or even a security guard can use deadly force depending on the situation. If she understood those conditions, of when you can use deadly force and when not to use deadly force, I think she would fit right in because she is adaptable. I think she loves people, so I think that would be I think that would be I think it'd be a natural fit for her. Now, like you say, she would have to learn it. She would have to understand that the society here, particularly if she got teleported back 21st century, is not like the society in Iron City, in 26th century. So I think that would be that would take some learning on her part, but I think she could pull it off because she is adaptable, as we were talking a while ago. As a security guy, Angelus, any thoughts about some of the stuff she might be confronted with if she was involved in as a security guard or something like that?
No thoughts really.
Well, she certainly got the ooh-woo there too, doesn't she? If she had to use deadly force, probably the perp that she would be going after would probably fall in love with her, and then she'd take him out, so I think that would probably happen more than once. So okay, let's move on to Cirque du Soleil performer. She could definitely do this, I think. Any kind of performance like this. Actually, she could probably be a yoga instructor too, for that matter, couldn't she? I mean, doing a one-finger handstand. We've talked about this on other streams about humans being able to do a one-finger handstand. I think there's a couple of videos on YouTube that shows someone doing one-finger handstands, but the big difference there is they're not very heavy, Alita probably weighs between 200 and 300 pounds. So there's going to be a lot more stress on her finger than there would be a human doing this, But I think the fact that she can do this tells me that she can do a lot of different, performances involving physical, acts or positions or something like this that, people would pay to go see. If she was in Cirque du Soleil, I think she could definitely do that. You know what Cirque du Soleil is, don't you, Angelus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But what do you think? Do you think maybe? Do you think she would enjoy doing this for one?
Maybe initially I could say yes, but over time, possibly no.
Yeah, because she grew weary of motorball, didn't she? After a while, she was mainly
Ed got shot too.
Yeah. Ed got shot, and that kind of left a mark on her. Plus, she was only really doing it in the manga. She's only really doing it to forget about Hugo, I guess. And in the movie, I think she's if she does continue to do it, which I think in the sequels she probably in Alita 2 she probably would do it, but she'd be doing it to probably to forget Hugo to some degree, but also to get up to Zalem to get at Nova, So I think I think she did grow weary of motorball in the manga. She quit doing it. And I don't know how many months that was, 6 months or whatever it was. I think the same thing might be happening here because these people, when they perform, they have to do the same performance pretty much, or just a limited number of performances, time in and time out, over and over. They'd have to keep doing it. I think she'd get bored with that after a while, I think. No comment about the ooh-woo on this one, Angelus?
I just keep on getting distracted.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's what I love about these streams. I can just sort of let my hair down and let go.
Yeah.
And be the fan rather than the sort of responsible host.
Yes, that's right. Because we don't really care.
No.
For sure, Oh, I wanted to show wanted to show. Let's go back a few slides. I wanted to show Chaos Nova, my new Alita display. So there you have it, Chaos Nova.
All right, looks good.
Yeah, yeah. I bought.
Got Alita.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I bought that Prime One Studios figure there in the back, the taller one. I bought that from Kran. You know, she sold it to me, and she's trying to upgrade her. Trying to upgrade her. She has a room full of this kind of stuff, and I think she wants to get a different Alita, kind of figure. I'm not sure if I don't think she likes the bust that much, because she told me once that the bust actually is, it's not, the hair is not accurate on it. And that was one thing I think she said she didn't like. So, but I think she's upgrading her, Alita room, I guess, or her, she doesn't just do Alita, of course. She looks at a lot of other anime and stuff like that. So I think she wants to kind of add some stuff to it. And she didn't want to just sell this figure to just anybody. To quote her, she wanted to sell it to somebody who would give her a good home. I think is the way she put it. So so anyway, she's now in my house, so in the living room.
Okay.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's the display. So I just thought I'd show Chaos that. So anyway. Any other thoughts about her doing this? Certainly Cirque du Soleil means Circus of the Sun. So, yeah, she could be a circus performer. I don't think she would like it too much, being a carny.
Get bored with it after eventually, possibly.
Yeah, I think she would. She'd get pretty bored with it. So, and would want to move on from it. But certainly she's capable of doing it. I mean, because she can do things with her body like that humans cannot do, So, okay, any other thoughts, you guys? Yep, she can do this. Matter of fact, in the manga, she does do this. She does teach a martial arts class. I don't remember much about it. Chaos or Angelus, do you remember much about this?
It was during the early part of the Japan arc.
Yeah, she was teaching humans, wasn't she? Well, humans and cyborgs, I guess.
Mostly, it appeared to be cyborgs in the crowd, but I'll look at it again.
Yeah. So anyway, she would teach them moves, teach them how to defend themselves and that kind of stuff. And yeah, that was the early part of the Japan arc, but I don't remember a lot about it,
I can't remember if it was like just civilians or other bounty hunters.
Yeah, I can't remember that either. I do know that Alita a lot of the male bounty hunters, formed like a fan club around her or something like that, because we saw that when we went over Sonic Finger, I guess, a few weeks ago on the Radio Chaos stream. So I imagine a lot of those, bounty hunters, a lot of those hunter warriors probably had a crush on her or something like that, and they wanted to join the group, So, but yeah, she could do this. And, she could even probably do yoga instructing, although I think she might have to learn some of that, because yoga is a lot different than martial arts. I'm not, I don't know a lot about yoga, but I know it doesn't involve strikes and, kicks and stuff like that. It involves stretching and that kind of stuff. And she certainly knows how to do that. As you can see from that form she's doing, that's called Snake Creeps Down. And that's a Kung Fu. I think that's either Wing Chun or it's just a lot of different Kung Fu forms use that Snake Creeps Down. It's a little bit different because in Snake Creeps Down, that hand she has up in the air is usually turned up and open palm. But and the hand, the lower hand is usually open also, but pointing down, sort of like it is there, is not fist like it is, but the form is still very much the same. And some of the moves she did, one of the moves she did in when she slammed Zapan's head onto the table, I know in Kenpo karate, we have a move. It's very similar to that called Special Movement 5, you know, and it was a kind of where you know, get your hand around behind their neck, you know, whereas she grabs Zapan's throat. But if you were to do a human, you would have to get your hand around the back of their neck, you know, and then, you know, execute the move. And it's very similar to that Kenpo karate move. So, that she did. So a lot of martial arts techniques, you'll see a lot of different styles in both karate and in kung fu, that the strikes and the kicks, that kind of stuff, are very, very similar. Where the difference would come in with some of the techniques in Panzerkunst are strictly designed for cyborgs, like the Hertz of Heian is a good example. You know, no human being can punch somebody. You know, you can punch somebody in the solar plexus or in the chest. You can do that as a practitioner of karate or kung fu, but you can't deliver an electromagnetic pulse, you know, as you strike, you know, another person. Whereas with cyborgs, you know, it's meant to actually disrupt the systems, you know, that they would have in their, you know, in their body, their built body. So that's certainly something that she could not teach a human being. She could teach them the strike. She could teach them how to hit somebody, but she couldn't teach. Oh, well, we lost Chaos. I think, did he have to go? Let's see. Nope, there's nothing in the private chat. So, so anyway, what do you think, Angelus? Would you take a karate class from her?
I at first answer I would. I don't know. I'd be actually so amazed at her ability.
Yeah.
To quote Chiron, how she can generate such force from such a small body.
Yeah. And
but
she is
even my current real life instructor is like, she's probably only like half a foot taller than what Alita really is in real life as well. So but she's short, like she just barely gets above my shoulder. And, you know, I'd have to go 100% to sort of have a chance against her. And then obviously to even it up, she'd have to go 100%. And then that's when she gets scary. So, and just like Alita.
Yeah, if you were in Alita's martial arts class and she was teaching you, and she said, "Okay, you know, the way we used to do it. Certainly, we do forms and all that stuff. You know, Kenpo karate is not like a lot of karate forms. You know, we do have forms, but it's more of a mixture of karate and kung fu. You know, is what it is. It is a hard style, though. It's not what you would call a soft style. But you know, what we would do is we would do forms. You know, one class we would do what we call the grab arts. And the next class we would do stuff we call rotations. And then the next class we do combinations and special movements and knife attacks and stuff like that. And then after we do that, we would spar. You know, we'd just have some sparring going on. You know, it may be 2 or 3, you know, different sessions with a different opponent. And by the time I got to brown belt, you know, I was actually sparring with black belts. You know, there was like 8 black belts. Well, actually, I was one that, at that point, I was one of the black belts, but we did have 8 black belts. And you would spar with a different person, or if someone became a brown belt and they came up, you would spar with them with the objective of learning how to fight, not how to beat the crap out of the other person, which, you know, we kind of went all out to a certain degree. But it wasn't full contact what we did when we were in
we call
class.
it body conditioning.
Yes, exactly. Well, I do know at one point when my brother and we opened a karate studio up at one point ourselves, because we were both black belts. And actually it was us and 3 other black belts of the same style. And we opened a karate studio, and we had the World Karate Association world champion. He was I think he was a middleweight, I think. And you know, he would come down and spar with us full contact, you know, and that was I mean, he was quite good for sure. I know when I sparred with him, man, I was hanging on by my fingernails, sparring with him, at full contact. Now, it wasn't full contact like, you're really trying to, take somebody out with a knockout or something like that. But it is, it's physical. You actually hit the other person or kick them, but in a controlled sense. The idea is to just practice and learn. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that if, at some point, we would spar with students, and if Alita was your sensei, or your instructor, and she said, Angelus, let's you and I spar. That would be quite scary, wouldn't it, Angelus?
Not scary at all. It means I wouldn't get hurt by Alita.
Yeah, well, Alita would have so much control, but it would still, I think I don't really practice karate anymore, but I think if I was to spar, I did tell Den one time if I ever go down to Tampa, and he said, well, you and I'll have to spar. And I said, well, I'll spar with you, as long as we lift weights also, But anyway, I would spar with her, but I think I would be very apprehensive, I think, because of just her ability. I mean, you saw in the movie. Now, of course, once again, this is a fictional character. I mean, certainly, but if there was someone like this and they were your sensei and you're in the karate class with them and they said to me, they say, Gary, come on, you and I are going to spar. I think, as they would say, my sphincter would probably shrink up. Oh, crap. Because she is so good, and she, of course, Alita is 4 feet 11 inches and the Creek is 6'1". So, I've got her by about 14 inches, so I mean, she would barely come up to the center of my chest, but I'll tell you, I mean, if I thought sparring with the World Karate Association champion was tough, this would be extremely tough, And I think if you were to spar with her full contact, I think that's where her control would really, come into play, because she could not hit you with a Hertz of Heian because your heart would explode, if you did that, She would probably do like she did in the mirror, where she stopped like 1 centimeter, from the mirror, is what it said, I guess, in the, in the novelization. So, but could you learn from Alita, Angelus?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
I have to get a few new cyber limbs, but absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she would be excellent martial arts instructor. You would learn how to fight if you were in her class. I know personally, I've kind of observed some other karate classes, different styles, and some are really good, some not so good. I think if you were in her class, you would learn how to fight, and learn how to defend yourself. So I think she would be really good at that, kind of like she was in the manga. She definitely was. I think she's a high warrior, and that's equivalent to probably a 1st or 2nd degree black belt, more than likely, because I don't know. Is that there's like 10 levels, so I'm not sure how that equates. But the fact that she could take out those 3 cyborgs in the alley like she did, that takes a lot of proficiency. She has to be very knowledgeable at techniques and stuff like that. And you saw what she did with that flying sidekick that actually, took off Nisiana's head, and ground and pound of Romo. And then, of course, with an axe kick, she took off Grishka's arm. So, I mean, that's what you'd be dealing with if you had to fight her, because she could very seriously injure you if it was a case where it's an actual, situation where she had to fight you. I mean, that you probably wouldn't fare. I don't know of any. Now, once again, fictional character, but if she was real and she's fought even the best karateka on earth, she would take them out pretty fast, because for one thing, she's fast. you know, in her berserker body, certainly, you know, she could run Mach 6.8, and her reflexes and all that are just as fast. So I don't know of anybody that could hit her or kick her. You know, I'm not sure, you know, and if they did, what they'd be hitting was metal, you know, and it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't go bode well for them. And if you remember from last week, we talked about the different styles and how we talked about how Alita would be far and above them because of her being a cyborg and knowing the special techniques that cyborgs learn in Panzerkunst. So anyway, I'm kind of meandering on here, Angelus. Do you have any thoughts about her as a martial arts instructor?
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
That's all right.
No, just that, I don't know, she'd probably even have to run a few classes eventually to get so popular that, yeah, she'd have to, like, everyone would, I don't know, how should I put it? It's like if Bruce Lee was alive today, everyone would, you know, want to learn from him because he's the most well-known, and
Yeah.
the leader would get to that sort of, like everyone would know about her. So everyone
Yeah.
would want to sort of, hey, let's join up here.
Yeah, I want to learn from the best. That would be the thought, you know. Yeah, Bruce Lee was alive today. He'd be 83 years old. So I have a feeling he would still be in good condition, though. You know,
Yeah,
I've seen 80-year-olds in powerlifting that are still in excellent shape. You know, that they do better than, say, somebody less than half their age. You know, so I think
I know, 71-year-old.
a little bit older than that, just a couple of years or so. But anyway, yeah. So I think she would be the pinnacle of a martial arts personality or celebrity, if you want to call it that. Like today, Jet Li he's a kind of a martial arts celebrity.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan would be another one. Of course, Jackie Chan actually made a couple of movies with Bruce Lee as well, you know. So
Jackie Chan got clubbered by Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon.
yes, he did. Yeah, that's one. I guess Bruce Lee grabbed him by the back of his hair, didn't he? And had his arm behind him or something like that. I think he was in another movie with Bruce Lee too. Jackie Chan was pretty young at that point, you know, but he was an excellent martial artist. So okay, well, I could wax on, as Maxie would say, I could wax on lyrical about Alita being a martial artist. That's for sure.
Oh, here I thought you were gonna go wax on, wax off reference.
No. Well, she could do that, you know, like Mr. Miyagi. There's a little Mr. Miyagi in everything, isn't there?
Yeah.
So anyway, martial arts instructor, certainly she would be excellent, and she would be sought after by even the best martial artists today, because for one thing, she could clobber all of them, you know, just because of her technique and her speed, you know, I mean, I think, and her power, you know, I mean, remember, she's got that antimatter microreactor heart that gives her extraordinary power, you know, I mean, like Ito says, you know, she could supply the power for Iron City for years. I mean, you know, that translates over into her strength and into her power when she strikes or kicks. I mean, you know, I don't know if any humans would be able to compete with that. So, okay, I guess moving on to this one, and we know she can do this. You know, she was like say a high warrior in the military. She was in special operations. And I think she could do that here. If she, say, for instance, she was transported back to the 21st century, I think she could be in a country's army or their Marines, you know, and their special operations. And I think her skill set and her adaptability, her resilience, her versatility, I think all of that would serve her very well, you know, and not to mention her physical ability, like we talked about in the last slide. But I think all of that would serve her very well if she was to join, say, you know, the U.S. Army or the Aussie Army, you know, if she was, or say the special ops like the Army Rangers or something like that. I think she would be super duper at that. You know, I most definitely, you know, being in a special operations like that. Now, this also means that, you know, she could also, you know, be a paid, you know, a soldier for hire. She could do that as well, you know, because I think she was in the manga. You know, I think she did. She was in the Mauser school, I think.
Well, she's a paid bounty hunter, sort of.
Yeah, and some of those would translate over, I think. You know, being a mercenary, because I think she was a mercenary too. I think in the manga, I think she was. You know, in addition to being in the military. Now here we see her in the movie is in the military. I think at least in part of the manga, she was also a mercenary, but I'm not sure about that. I'd have to go back and reread some of that. But, you know, certainly whether she was in an actual national military or she was a mercenary, I think all of her skill set would serve her very well in either one of those fields, you know. And certainly, as we talked a while ago, as a bounty hunter, she could, you know, she could be in a security force, you know, military security, like I don't know what you have in the Aussie Army there. I wish Dizzy was on. I could ask him maybe, but you know, they have over here. We have air police, we have shore patrol, and MPs. I'm not sure what MP stands for. Military police.
Military police.
Yeah, I think she would work out very well there as well, just like she would work out pretty well in law enforcement after she learned, you know, kind of the, you know, the ins and out of our culture and our society, when not to use deadly force at a dropping of a hat, you know, it just, you know, just when it would be appropriate to use deadly force, certainly she could do that. So. And in the manga, if you remember, she was actually in, I think she headed up the Operation Malwharf, which killed, how many people was it, Angelus? I can't remember. It was a bunch. Was it like 100,000 or something like that? You know, so she knows what to do in the military. That's for sure. You know. Any thoughts? I've never was in the military. I worked for the Defense Department, but I was a civilian. I worked with a lot of military people, but I didn't, you know, I never was in the military. So
she'd be in a very high demand, like mentally and physically demand context, or like a high stress unit, if you will, because I mean, she'd be able to handle it, unlike us normal civilians.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the feeling that particularly in this scene right here, you know, like Gelda was what's called a licensed warrior, I think is what she was called, which would, you know, you can't really, there's really no direct analog with any rank, but I would consider her something of perhaps a colonel, maybe, you know, or a major. And to me, Alita looks like she's second in command here. You know, Alita would probably be something like a lieutenant or a captain. You know, a captain in the Army, not a captain in the Navy. They're different. Captain in the Navy is like a colonel in the Army, but I think she was pretty high up on the list, being a high warrior, you know. So I think, you know, if she was to say, you know, join the military on any country's military, then I think if she came up through the ranks, I think she would go up through the ranks real fast. And I think eventually she would become an officer, you know, perhaps. She might start out as a ground pounder, but I think she would actually be an officer eventually because of her abilities, she is intelligent, so she would learn pretty fast, some of the, military operations and special operations and stuff like that, because she was in special ops. So I think she would excel at this quite a bit in being in the military.
Mm.
Yeah, she could probably even be a drill instructor for that matter, kind of like she could be a martial arts instructor, So, and she could teach, well, certainly Cyborg, she could definitely teach them Panzer Kunst, but oh, that reminds me, I got to buy that volume 9 of Mars Chronicles. I think I'll do that right after we get off the stream.
I've already got mine ordered. It's on the, actually, I wonder if I can see if like there's tracking for it or something.
Yeah. So anyway, I think if Dizzy was on the stream, he could probably help us a little bit more. But were you ever in the military, Angelus, or?
No.
Yeah. So it takes a very special mindset to be in the military, I think. Or a lot of it does, not all of it, obviously. A military is it's not a monolithic thing. I mean, there are a lot of, it's just not just people carrying guns all the time. I mean, there are clerks, and there are, assistants, and, folks that do logistics and stuff like that, supply corps type individuals, but I think Alita would fit that pretty well. Oh, yeah. You reckon she's got the voice of an angel there, Angelus? Yeah, that's
I'd love
right.
to hear Rosa sing.
Oh, God, that'll be great. Yeah, I hope they do that. Now, they probably will do a little, if they do it in the sequel, it'll probably be just a little bit, maybe the end of a song, and then she comes over and talks to a couple of people or something like that.
Yeah.
But in the manga, she does sing. She's a regular at the Kansas Bar 2, I guess it is, the rebuilt Kansas Bar. And I think this is where she gets those fanboys that fall in love with her. And they're in her fan club, I guess, as Hunter Warriors. Me. Yeah, me too. So anyway, I think she'd be good at it. Well, I think she plays keyboards. Does she play anything else? I don't remember. And she sings for sure. So does she play any other, does she have a guitar or anything like that, Angelus? I don't recall.
No, not that I remember either.
I know Kran's got a drawing of her playing the guitar, and I saw another drawing of her playing a violin. So I'm not sure, that's not canon, I don't think. But, so as a music, yep. In the dark, I'll see you like an angel. No matter how you try, like an angel. I love that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think Rosa did do some singing, I guess. And I saw one video she did, and she has a nice voice. I think she could pull it off, She'd probably want to take lessons, but I think she could definitely pull it off,
Yeah.
Künstler struck. Yeah. Thunderstruck. Yeah. So you think she'd get bored with this, Angelus?
No, I don't know if many musicians get bored with their careers.
Yeah, I don't know how long she'd stay with it. She's somebody that I think wants to get into stuff a lot. I think I think she's an action-oriented type person. I'm not sure she would stick with musician for very long.
You could put it into the shows, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I forget the artist. In fact, there's an Alita Army guy that follows her, but there's a chick that plays the violin, but she puts a lot of physical effort into her performances, even like while literally playing it.
Like what kind of physical?
Like just movement, dancing sort of thing,
Oh,
while
I
actually
see.
playing the violin sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a couple of guys that I'd have to look it up. I mean, I guess I can try to. I think it's like 2 cellos or whatever. And a
Oh,
couple of guys
okay.
that did the
Yeah.
Thunderstruck.
Yes. Yeah, that's that one where they're like in the Middle Ages, right? And they're
Yeah.
during the Renaissance or something. They're up there. They start playing this, this kind of mellow, kind of, little tune, and then all of a sudden they go into it, and all the people in the crowd, except for the kids, are like aghast. They're like, oh my God. Yes, that's
Yeah.
funny. I love that. I think they actually performed in Sydney one time, didn't they?
Yeah, I just found the video, which I'll sort of like show, and then
Yeah.
where is it? There we go. All right,
Yeah.
that one, and that one.
Yeah, we might. Yeah,
Two-
you make sure you don't share the music because we might get yeeted.
No. All right, so full
Yeah.
screen. All right, so basically like I said, it's staged, like costumed, all that, and Lindsay Sterling, that's her name, and she does the same thing with violin. I can see Alita doing this one.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just playing along.
Yeah, they're
And
just
all of
doing
a
a
sudden-
very sedate. Yeah. Yeah.
And then now they're going nuts with the Thunderstruck sort of
Yeah.
thing.
And you can do a thing. The guy, one of them is on it. He's kind of does like you would with a guitar. He lays on his back, and it's that guy on the left, right? He's
Yeah. So
oh, okay. Zelda, holy mackerel. Link.
shut for me. Yeah, so and I guess you could even somewhat thank the critics that way, because it's if it wasn't for them, as I keep on saying, the Elite Army would never have been created, and we would have never been able to generate the kind of exposure that Alita has and the kind of fandom that her character inspires.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know of a fandom that's like us. I guess the Snyder Cut folks are a pretty good fandom. I know Amy's in that one. She's pretty good. A lot of fandoms can be kind of toxic, though. Some of them, Now I was in the Star Trek fandom back in the '90s, and I mean, it was pretty good, but we didn't have the reach on the internet like we have today, so it wasn't quite like the Alita Army, but certainly it was a lot of fun. I don't know what the Star Trek fandom is now. I don't, I'm not engaged with them too much, but yeah, I could see Alita getting really doing physically oriented stuff while she's playing those keyboards on the left, maybe dancing behind the keyboards, and doing some of those poses, like not the one finger handstand maybe, but something akin to that while playing the keyboards to make it more entertaining. I think I could see her doing some of that stuff. So this angel's kind of tough. You've been Künstler struck. Yeah. Finn plays the keyboard. Excellent. Maybe you could play the keyboard with Alita there, Finn, like she's doing on the left there. I don't know if Alita speaks German or Swiss German. I don't know if she does that or not, but she certainly plays the keyboard, so you'd fit right in more than likely. Okay, and this one I had this one in the stream last year, but it's kind of a lark. But a pirate, yeah, she could be a pirate, because I like the way they got that set up like that. Finn says he's been playing keyboards for 14 years. That's pretty good. Yeah, kind of dressed up like Captain Jack Sparrow right there, you know. So she'd probably be pretty successful as a pirate because, yeah, if she wanted to steal something from you, there's not a whole lot you could do to stop her, I don't think. Oh, he's okay. Yeah, I understood you. You misspelled Alita. That's no problem. So, how about
My
space?
phone is creaky.
Yeah. How about space pirate, Angelus? What do you think?
I'm not too sure if Alita would have the demeanor for it.
Yeah.
Maybe as like a sort of a Robin Hood persona, but in space.
Yeah, stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Yeah, she would do something like that, I think. Although she didn't do a lot of that in the manga. She just did bounty hunting for the money. So I know in the manga, what was it? She started making a lot of money doing being a bounty hunter, I guess, and Ito kind of I guess surprised Ito a little bit that she started enjoying it, you know, because she was making more money. So, you know, I guess that part of her would probably fit pretty well as a pirate, but I don't see her doing something like this, you know, illegal, you know, to actually, maybe I'm putting too much of a, you know, maybe I'm putting her up on a pedestal too much here, but, you know, I don't see her doing something like that, you know, like a bank robber or say like an outlaw in the Old West or something like this. Although there is I did see a meme where she was dressed up like Clint Eastwood in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. I did see her dressed up like that too. So,
Well, I guess the line between that would be blurred because I can actually see her what was it, like using bounty hunting or pirating depending on the context of the action. Like this is more of a bounty hunter context, but I saw her like maybe like she didn't see it, but she heard of like someone get like assaulted or killed because they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time in a gang war. And they saw the that excuse me, that the person that remained alive as a witness or something, and if they tried to go after them, like a leader would be there to stop them and like almost use that as an excuse to just, you know, take them out permanently.
she would do that. Yeah. Finn's got a funny thought here. Pirates of the of the United Republics of Mars. But I would say this. I think she could be a privateer. You know, a privateer is actually a pirate that actually works for a government, you know, and they, for instance, what she would do is, let's say, as a privateer, and that'd be almost like a mercenary itself, but, you know, she could maybe commandeer, you know, say Earth's or Venus's or Jupiter, one of their spacecraft, you know, like a pirate would, but she'd be doing it for Mars, you know. So she wouldn't be a pirate per se, but she would be doing some of the same things pirates do by commandeering spacecraft. I think she could do that because she would have the demeanor for that because she was a mercenary in the manga. So I think it'd be pretty similar in that regard, you know, and a privateer is kind of a mercenary because they get paid for it. And I don't know if anybody remembers your history, but you know, back in the day, I guess these privateers would work like for Spain or England or something like that. They would attack shipping of some of the other countries. You know, not just doing it for their, well, they would be doing it for their personal enrichment, but they would also be doing it for the enrichment or as part of the benefit, I guess, for the country that they were being paid by. So, I think that in that regard, I think she would very much fit in, because being a mercenary herself in the manga, I think that would just be a natural fit to be a privateer. I do agree with you, Angelus. I think as a pirate, that's a little bit different. I mean, even though they do some of the same things, it's not an illegal, kind of, self-centered. Well, it is somewhat self-centered, but it's a little bit different objective privateers have, I think. So,
yeah, I guess in reverse, it's like whenever you like copy movies off the internet or something,
yes,
they call that piracy, and
yep,
you're not exactly taking anything, because the movie file itself, you're downloading off someone that's giving it to you, but
yeah,
like the act of it, like along the chain, eventually the studio or something sort of loses money in a sense, because that's like one sale of a DVD or something that they won't get.
yep, yeah. Well, it's kind of like, well, for instance, like on my channel, I have Alita Battle Angel on at the front of one of my playlists, and you can watch it and download. I don't know about downloading it, but you can watch it, but you would be purchasing it from 20th Century Studios, and I don't get any money out of that, But since I'm promoting Alita, I want Alita, to be successful and stuff like that. If you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see Alita Battle Angel up at the front. So in other words, I'm not giving that movie away for free. I'm not pirating it, because I actually bought the movie and I subscribed to, then it was, I think, 20th Century Fox, when they were still going, I think, or it might've been already 20th Century Studios. I'm not sure, but you get to select the platform that you want to connect to online. And there was like 3 of them. I chose YouTube because I'm on YouTube more than anything else. But I said, okay, here's a chance for me to promote Alita. And when you click on it on my YouTube channel, it'll ask you whether you want to buy it or rent it. And when you click on one of those two, I don't get a dime out of that. It all goes to 20th Century Studios. So, and I'm okay with that, because I want to promote Alita. I'm not in this right here for money, to make money. What's Finn saying here? Modern Pirates 6, why not in space? Yeah, they could. Mines and bounty hunters. Yeah, that's right. They kind of are. Bounty hunters, I guess, are more, they would be a little closer to privateer than they would be pirates, I think. Because, for instance, in the movie Alita Battle Angel, those hunter warriors, they had to go to the factory and turn in the heads of the people they take out, and the factory pays them in credits, kind of like you saw Ito getting paid in credits, for bringing Nisiana and Romo's head, into the factory, to be reimbursed in credits. So that'd be more like a privateer than it would be a pirate. So anyway, but yeah, you're right, Finn. You could have, I mean, we have pirates today. I mean, particularly, around in some locations, there are pirates, that try to, they try to commandeer shipping and stuff like that, and get the goods off of it and stuff like that. They still do that today. I think it was more prevalent back in the 16th century and 17th century, I think, but still, I mean, they're still alive today, so why couldn't you do it in space? Well, I guess you could, Any other thoughts about her being a pirate other than what you see there, the obvious ooh-woo there on that one?
Interrupting supply chains and whatnot of enemy
enemy
frigates and transports and whatnot.
Yep, exactly. Which would
And
be
if
a little
you,
bit special ops, right?
yeah, and like, you know, like I guess it's just like a different variant, if you will, of special forces.
Yeah.
You're just not taking orders from the military. You're just doing your own thing, but achieving the same objective.
Yeah, the big difference, I guess, here between a pirate and a privateer would be a pirate is basically stealing, whereas a privateer is doing what they're doing for a government.
Hmm.
So that I think I guess that's the simplest, just comparison I can make to it. So I don't see Alita wanting to steal anything, but I do see her maybe working for someone like you suggested, disrupting supply chains and stuff like that. For a government, I could see her doing that. Well, she actually worked for the Toon program too. That'd be more like a bounty hunter, but she did work in the Toon program, so that'd be more of a special ops, I guess, sort of, or spy, or whatever you want to call it. So. Okay, any other thoughts about this? I just put this in here for fun. I don't think Alita would fit very well as a pirate. I think she would be a good privateer, though, but I think not a pirate. So,
No, like
okay.
not the traditional definition of one, no. But
Yeah, she wouldn't be a good Captain Jack Sparrow or a good Blackbeard
yeah,
or something like that. Edward Teach. She wouldn't be good at that, but she definitely would be a good, someone working for an organization that would pay her, to disrupt supply chains and commandeer vessels and stuff, as long as it was not illegal. I think she would be fine doing that, I think. Looks like Finn's having trouble with his internet. So, oh yeah. Yeah, she can do this. Yeah. Could you see her playing American football? I don't know if anybody could tackle her for one thing, or playing rugby or something like this. I mean, certainly if she played baseball or cricket, she would have to learn, the game itself, well, she'd have to learn any game, but she certainly picked up motorball pretty fast, didn't she?
she did too.
What do you think? How do you think she'd do as a cricket player, Angelus?
She'd go well in anything. She's got obviously the endurance, the physicality, the coordination, hand-eye,
Yeah.
whatever sort of thing. Whether it be, she's got the agility for soccer, she's got the physicality for football,
Yeah.
and like whether it be gridiron, whether it be rugby union, whatever.
Yeah.
She'd have like I said, the coordination for cricket. She'd have any sort of competitive sports, I guess.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes adrenaline, I guess, or whatever chemical her cyborg body produces that imitates adrenaline. Absolutely, You reckon
Only
she'd be?
one that she'd probably even have remote trouble with is something like maybe volleyball or like any sort of height-based basketball sort of sport.
Yeah.
Because she's like 4'11".
Yeah. Although she can jump pretty high. She could probably slam dunk a basketball pretty easily, I think, because there was a basketball player back in the 90s, and I can't remember his name now, but he was tiny. He was like 5'2" or something like that. And he actually won the dunk competition in the National Basketball Association here in the States. So if he can do it as a human, I'm sure she could do it.
Yeah.
I think in baseball, with her high hand-eye coordination and her reflexes being what they are, I think she'd be hitting home runs all the time. Or if she was in cricket, I think she'd be hitting for 6 a lot. you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know of any cricket bowler that could actually put spin on it to such a degree that she couldn't react to it and still hit it, you know. And with baseball, I don't know of any pitcher that could throw any kind of pitch that she couldn't react to, you know, and hit that ball. So yeah, wrestling, ice hockey. I don't know, Angelus. What do you think about ice hockey? I'm not sure about that. I guess she could do it. I mean, if she can play motorball, she can probably do ice hockey. That would be my thought.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah. And wrestling. Yeah, I mean, that certainly wrestling is actually a martial art. We talked about that last week, or it's a grappling art similar to judo and, you know, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. You know, I think she would be good at it, not just for the technique, because I think she could learn the technique, but I think her strength would just be overpowering. You know, I don't see her being beaten by technique alone, you know, in a wrestling match, to say, you know, because she's so strong that I'm not sure. I mean, anybody that can bench press over 3,000 pounds is what I calculated at one point she can do. I don't think she's going to have any trouble with a professional or an amateur wrestler. I just don't see that happening. And if she was an American football player, they just hand her the ball and let her run for a touchdown every time, because I don't see anybody tackling her. You know, for one thing, she's so fast and she's so powerful, she would run over a lot of guys. You know, I mean, I guess they could trip her somehow, you know, but if they were to hit, you know, like do a tackle on her and hit her head on, I mean, she would probably seriously injure them. You know, they wouldn't be able to do that. You know, they'd have to somehow trip her up, or I don't know how they do it. They certainly couldn't grab her and do it because she'd carry them with them, you know. So it'd be kind of interesting to see her play an American football, though. That would be real interesting. What sports do you think that you're familiar with that we don't do here in America, Angelus, that would she also excel in, you think? Yeah, we said cricket there, Finn. Yeah, we've agreed she would probably be pretty good at cricket. I think you might be muted there, Angelus.
I can't really think of many other sports. I mean, I know there's like thousands, but I mean, some of them you could double back to the martial arts instructor because she'd be good at that.
Yeah.
Combat sports, UFC.
Yeah, UFC should, or, you know, mixed martial arts, obviously she'd be good at. Tennis. Probably it would be a learning curve for her, but I think she could do it. It wouldn't be as obvious as her playing football, you know, like American football or that football you guys don't like, Angelus, some Aussie rules football. I used to watch that when it was on here in the States, but I think she would just be killer at either one of those. Tennis, I'm not sure, because tennis requires some, well, I mean, she can be finesseful, but I think that's a little bit different, I think. You know, she would have to learn how to hit the ball and keep it in the court because, I mean, of her power, you know, she would probably hit the ball so hard, the ball would probably tear to pieces, and the tennis racket, the string would probably break easily, you know. So dodgeball, yeah, I guess. Yeah, dodgeball, I guess so. Yeah, is there a professional dodgeball? I'm not sure there is a professional dodgeball, but think she could play rollerball, Angelus?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Get on Jonathan E's team, and then that team would be unbeatable. So I mean, the rules are similar in a lot of ways. So Yeah, I think she wouldn't have any trouble being a professional athlete. Boxing, even professional boxing. I mean, you know, her hands would be so fast. She'd, you know, any fight she was be in, she would knock them out in the first round every time. And she'd have to be careful because she could hit them so hard it might kill them. You know, she'd have to pull back on her strength a little bit, or her power, you know, or to not to too seriously injure somebody, you know. So okay. Yeah, she could do that, I guess. I don't think she would stick with it very long, you know, but I guess that's from a drawing I saw. I like the drawing, so I added it. But yeah, she could be a waitress. I mean, particularly since she was in the Kansas bar as a musician, I think she could do this pretty easily. You know, I don't know much about her being a cook. What's this? I think she could do many sports. Yeah, I think she probably could, Finn. I'm not sure she would. I mean, this would be similar to bartender, I think, in some regards. You know, I think she could do it. I just don't think she would stick with it very long. I mean, you know, maybe if she was short on money or something like that, she would, you know, perhaps, you know, take a job as a waitress just for a short period of time to make a few bucks or something like that, you know. But if she was a waitress in a restaurant, I know I'd probably frequent it often, wouldn't you, Angelus? Oh yeah, oh yeah. So anyway, we can move on from that, I guess. So this is what we can't. We're not done yet, Angelus. We're not done yet. I got another slide for you. But you see a lot of those astronauts, certainly, or cosmonaut, if you prefer the Russian. Bounty hunter, a bartender, certainly. Bounty hunter, or say hunter warrior would be that, or even in some regards, security guard, or say a policeman or something like that. You know, she could do that. By the way, she, you see her there. She's, got a book. She's got a phone there. I think that phone was added, but I think she would be a studious person because in the manga, she did start reading books. So I think any profession that would require a college education, I think she could do it. I think what she would have to do, though, is probably go to high school first and then go to college, because she knows how to read. So, I mean, that's a given, and being a teenager, I think it'd be appropriate for her to go to high school, and I think any of the high school guys that tried to bully her would learn real fast that would not be the smart thing to do. For sure. Or any of what is that movie that came out Lindsay Lohan was in, Mean Girls? That wouldn't be very smart for them either to do that. So, but yeah, I think any profession like what we see listed here that would require a college education, I think she could do it, but she would have to go to school first, obviously, because she is intelligent. She's not a dummy. She's going to be able to read and comprehend things and learn, from reading. I mean, I think she can do that. But, certainly she has a physical ability to be a Cirque du Soleil performer, or any kind of, you want to call it a circus performer, or maybe a professional dancer or something like that. I think she could do that. It's because it's just a matter of knowing movements in that regard, I think. Now, some of the movements would be pretty complex and requires a lot of skill, but I think she could learn it. And martial arts instructor for sure, because she is what I would think would be equivalent to I would say she's probably better than a first degree black belt, wouldn't you, Angelus? She might be like a 5th or 6th degree black belt or something like that, I think, And being in the military, we know she can do that because she was that in the manga and in the movie for that matter. And we see in the manga that she can play instruments. So that'd be good. Privateer, pirate, and play in many different professional sports. And not just football and baseball and stuff like that, but even wrestling if she wanted to do it. Now, here's the thing about wrestling. You know, I mean, you know, wrestlers, I'm not going to say it's fake, because if you got in a fight with a real wrestler, you know, they could pretty well hurt you. But a lot of the stuff is choreographed, you know, and I'm not sure how she would fit with that. I think she would want the actual, you know, kind of like in boxing, you know, or say mixed martial arts, you know, as opposed to professional wrestling, you know. Now, you know, amateur wrestling or judo or jujitsu or something like that, I think she would enjoy that quite a bit, you know. And then certainly a waitress, definitely she could do that, but I don't think she would stick with it. I think it would be a little boring for her. You know, I don't think she would like to keep going to tables and stuff like, not because that's a meaningless job, because it's not. I mean, I know some pretty fine folks that are waitresses, you know, and they're really good and they know what they're doing. But in Alita's case, I think just her personality is not, it's not suited for that. You know, I think she could do it for a short period of time, but I don't think she'd stick with it, you know. But Angelus, what do you think? Do you think she could make a living just on her uwu?
Have you added model?
Yeah, well, that would be here. Yeah, she could be a model, yeah, for sure. You know, now these are all human Alitas, obviously, you know, and they're AI for sure. You know, yeah. When you sent me that picture in the middle there, I had to add that to the PowerPoint. When I saw it, I went, "Oh my God, that's a good picture." You know, so what's this you're saying? Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't like to say that wrestling is fake, if that's what you're referring to, Finn, because you know those wrestlers, they're pretty, you know, they're pretty adept at what they do. You know, I mean, they know how to fight. There's no doubt about it. Now, you know, it's kind of more of an entertainment thing, you know, that kind of thing, and that's why I don't think Alita would want to do that. You know, because I think, you know, she would probably want the actual competition, like in mixed martial arts. You know, I think that would be more to her suitability. You know, I think that'd be more to her liking, I think, you know. So anyway, you think she could be an actress there, Angelus?
Absolutely.
Yep, our girl could do a lot of that, I think. Boy, AI is getting better and better, isn't it? I mean, what did you make that picture with? What program or what app did you do that with in the center there, Angelus?
These are all Vladis that I know.
Oh, Vladis? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, can she make a living on just her uwu? I'll let you answer that, Angelus.
Of course.
Yeah, she could. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it, I think, in terms of the, you know, did we leave out anything? Did we miss anything?
No.
Oh,
except for the supermodel thing, but we kind of
hit that. Well, I wanted to put that back up because Finn said, you know, all three of them are uwu. So yeah, they are. There's no doubt about it. You know, I think you mean pretty, not pridey. Yeah, we want a sequel as well, Finn. That's for sure. Yeah, she could be a runway model, I think. I think as a runway model, I don't know if she would like doing that for very long. You know, I think that's just something it's kind of well, I don't know much about it. I'm really speaking out of school, but to me, it strikes me as more of a repetitive thing. You know, I mean, they do get to wear different clothing and stuff like that, you know, but I think for her, that wouldn't last. I mean, she couldn't sustain that very long. I think she just wouldn't want to. I think she could do it. There's no doubt about it, you know, and she does have the look. So, you know, So, other than the model thing there, Angelus, that you rightly pointed out, did we miss anything?
No.
I think we pretty much hit all the possible professions that she could do. And as you say, as you can see in that middle panel, she does. Alita loves her Uncle Creek. So, you know, there you have it. If you got any problems with that, you're gonna have to deal with her. So, and that wouldn't be fun, especially if she was, you know, using her martial arts on you, you know. And of course, this is our queen right here. God, that's a bad spot on that picture right there. I didn't see that. Rosa, you know, she's number one in the Creeks book in terms of being an actress, you know, so she brought Alita to life, you know, and I mean, God, they couldn't have picked a better actor for this. You know, I think there were a couple of actors that would have done a fairly good job. You know, certainly Zendaya would have done a good job, but I think Rosa knocked it out of the park. You know, I think she is Alita for sure. And she loves playing Alita. And I think, like she said, she would play Alita until she was 99 years old or something like that, you know. And I want to do a shout out to Elle Lamont and Jesse Fisher. Those two brought Screwhead to life. And, you know, we want them in the sequel as well, you know, because I think Screwhead's not dead. I think Screwhead, you know, got hacked up pretty good, you know, cut in half and all that good stuff. But looks like it didn't touch her core and her head was intact. So, I mean, I think Screwhead could definitely make a comeback. But we want all three of these ladies in the sequel.
Can't ever leave me alone.
I guess we got something going on there at Angelus's house. But as I like to say every week, you know, these three ladies are accomplished actors. And of course, in Jessie Fisher's case, she's as Elle put it, you know, she's the most badass stunt woman she's ever worked with. So that's pretty cool. But certainly, as I like to say every week, it sure don't hurt that they're pretty. So, you know, I mean, it definitely they are nice looking and they are great at what they do. They're not just pretty faces. They know what they're doing, you know, so they're accomplished at it. So, okay, Angelus, are you still there? I guess tomorrow, this is what we're going to be talking about on Radio Chaos.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Is Maxie going to be the host or are you going to be the host? I guess I should read the show notes, I guess.
Mackie might end up being host, but I'll still be there as backup anyway.
Yeah, I'll be there. I won't be managing the stream, but I will be there. And sometimes if Tony or Starvellian gets a family obligation that gets him unforeseen, then I can stream it, you know, still, you know. So I guess tomorrow we're going to talk about how do we avoid living in Iron City in the future, you know, having that looking us in the face, you know, and we're going to be chatting about this. And I bet you we're going to, I bet we're going to get into politics at some level, which Creek doesn't like to do too much. But, you know, I guess certainly we're going to have to talk about it. And we'll certainly talk about the politics of Iron City and Zalem, that's for sure, you know, and how they got to that point. That's something we'll probably chat about. But anyway, is that kind of your understanding of it, Angelus?
Yeah. I mean, it's not just that. It's politics, society, governmental.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting into stuff that might be a little, not necessarily taboo, but people might be reserved in approaching.
Yes.
We go head on into it.
Yep. Oh, damn it. I didn't put my background up there. So there it is now. I forgot to click on that. So anyway, Alita sequels, that's what we want. And that's what the whole reason for us being in the Alita army is. So, okay. I guess we've hit it. Any last thoughts there, Angelus?
No. All good.
Anyway, why is that image there? Well, that image is there because the Creek likes it. and the Creek has run the stream. And to paraphrase Gruishka, I'm only here for our girl, and the Alita Army. And of course, the Alita Army, all of us are only here for our girl. So we want that sequel. And aha, Finn says, Ich liebe Alita. Absolutely. So we do too. So anyway, that's pretty much it, I guess. And I guess that only leaves one thing to do, and that's the call to action, Jealous. And I guess that'd be just you and me doing it, but on my count of three, and that would be 1, 2, 3.
Film those
Film
sequels,
sequels, baby.
baby.
And that was rotten, but we're going to go with it. So we'll see you guys next week on the Alita live stream. We'll see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita live stream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.